Assalamualaikum and good day to Sir Fauzi. My name is Saliezah binti Ramlie from class FIN 546 Group 1. Today, I will be presenting my topic entitled Parallel Istisna, which is one of the important contracts used in Islamic finance, especially in construction and manufacturing financing. Throughout this presentation, I will explain the definition of parallel istisna, its pillars, modus operandi, related issues, and its importance in modern Islamic finance. Without further ado, let us begin the presentation. I will start with the definition of istisna and parallel istisna in Islamic finance. Firstly, istisna is a type of Islamic contract used for manufacturing or construction projects. The word istisna literally means asking someone to build or manufacture something. Technically, it refers to a contract where a buyer asks a manufacturer to produce a specific asset that does not yet exist. The asset will then be delivered in the future at an agreed price. There are several important characteristics of istisna. First, the asset does not exist at the time the contract is signed. For example, a house that still needs to be constructed. Second, the manufacturer is responsible for providing the materials needed for the construction. This makes istisna different from a normal service contract. Next is parallel istisna, which is commonly used by Islamic banks today. Parallel istisna involves two separate and independent contracts. The Islamic financial institution acts as an intermediary between the customer and the contractor. In the first contract, the bank agrees to provide the completed asset to the customer. Then, in the second contract, the bank appoints a manufacturer to build the asset. An important Sharia requirement is that these two contracts must remain independent. This means if the contractor fails to complete the project, the bank is still responsible to fulfill its obligation to the customer. We move on to the pillars of parallel istisna. According to Bank Negara Malaysia standards, there are 5 essential pillars that make the valid contract and Sharia-compliant. The first pillar is the contracting parties, which are the buyer and seller. The buyer is called the mustasni, while the seller or manufacturer is known as the sania. Both parties must have legal capacity, meaning they are mentally sound and able to make proper decisions. In a parallel istisna, the Islamic bank plays two roles. In the first contract, the bank acts as the seller to the customer. In the second contract, the bank becomes the buyer from the contractor. The second pillar is offer and acceptance, also known as akad. The contract is formed through ijab and kabul, which can be done verbally, in writing, or through other acceptance methods. Once both parties agree, the contract becomes binding. In parallel istisna, both contracts must remain independent and cannot depend on each other. The third pillar is the asset or subject matter. The asset must be something that can be manufactured according to agreed specifications and must be a lawful asset. The fourth pillar is price and payment. The selling price must be fixed at the beginning of the contract. Payment is flexible and may be made through installments, deferred payment, or based on construction progress. Finally, the fifth pillar is work and delivery. The seller is responsible for completing the construction according to the agreed schedule. The delivery time and place must be also clearly stated. I will continue with explain the modus operandi. Parallel istisna works through several steps involving the customer, the Islamic bank, and the manufacturer. The first step is the project request. A customer approach an Islamic bank to request financing for a project such as building a house. The second step is signing the first istisna contract. The bank agrees to provide the completed asset to the customer at an agreed price that includes the bank's profit margin. The third step is signing the second contract. To fulfill its obligation, the bank enters into another separate contract with a manufacturer. The bank appoints the contractor to build the house at a lower price. The fourth step is the construction phase. During this stage, the bank may pay the contractor progressively according to the project. The fifth step is delivery. Once the construction is completed, the constructor delivers the asset to the bank. Then the bank delivers the asset to the customer. The final step is payment. The customer pays the bank according to the agreed payment schedule, usually in installments over a certain period. Next, I will discuss several related issues and risks. Although parallel istisna is a useful Islamic financing method, it also involves certain risks that need proper management by the Islamic bank and all parties involved. The first issue is default risk. This happens because customer fails to pay to the bank. In some cases, the manufacturer may also abandon the project before completion. This situation can cause financial losses and delays in the entire financing process. The second issue is cost overrun risk. Construction projects are highly dependent on raw materials such as steel and cement. In the prices, if the prices of these materials increase unexpectedly, the construction cost may become much higher than originally planned. The third issue is delivery delay risk. Sometimes the contractor may fail to complete the project on time. As a result, the bank may face penalties or legal liability towards the customer because the bank is responsible under the first istisna contract. The fourth issue is construction defects. The completed asset may not match the agreed specification or may contain defects in quality or workmanship. For example, the size, the materials, or design may differ from what was promised in the contract. Finally, I will explain the importance of the contract. The first one, parallel istisna, plays an important role in supporting economic development. This contract contributes directly to the growth of the real economic sector, especially in construction and manufacturing industries. Through this financing method, many large-scale projects can be developed, such as highways and more. Secondly, parallel istisna is important because it is ethical and Sharia-compliant. Unlike conventional loans that involve interest, this contract is based on trade and real economic activities, which are permitted in Islam. It follows the Sharia principle of risk and reward justice, meaning profit can be earned when a party is willing to bear risk. Thirdly, parallel istisna helps Islamic financial institutions manage risk effectively. Banks can reduce operational risk by appointing professional contractors to complete the project. Islamic banks also use several risk management tools such as guarantees, collateral, and project monitoring. In certain situations, banks may intervene or appoint a new contractor if the original contractor fails to complete the project on time. Finally, parallel istisna offers a high level of flexibility. Customers can request assets according to their own specifications and needs. In addition, payment methods are flexible and can be made through installments or based on project progress. The contract may also include warranties, maintenance, and after-sales services within the agreed price. That's all from my presentation. In conclusion, parallel istisna is an important Sharia-compliant financing contract that supports construction and manufacturing projects while promoting economic development and ethical financing practices. Thank you for your attention and Assalamu alaikum.